Tarik Skubal's the best pitcher in the world. He can't be hit, he doesn't walk anybody, and he just won the Triple Crown last year en route to the 2024 AL Cy Young Award. Let's talk about it.
What a performance from Tarik Skubal.
He comes at you with force.
He 1-2, swing and a miss. Got him with a fastball.
Everyone's there to just watch them.
He will be the Cy Young Award winner.
That is a tour de force performance.
Skubal is pumped coming off that mound.
Very few people get to a point where they are a rock star.
Skubal wants all of it right now.
An indicator of what Skubal's stuff truly is. One of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He is primed for a run at the Cy Young Award.
Absolutely overpowered.
Octane fastball. Swing and a miss. 99 upstairs and Diaz.
Tarik was born in 1996 in Hayward, California. He played college ball at Seattle University for the Redhawks, and in his freshman year, he was pretty good, posting a 3.24 ERA in 14 starts. But his sophomore season in 2016, he was ready to break out in a big way. He started off the season with a 2.11 ERA and 50 strikeouts in just 42 2/3 innings pitched. But then he started to have discomfort in his pitching elbow. He got it checked out and got the worst news that a pitcher could possibly get: Tommy John. So he would miss the rest of the 2016 season and the entire 2017 season rehabbing from that surgery. And like every other young pitcher that gets Tommy John surgery, there were people wondering if he would ever pitch again. The Arizona Diamondbacks decided to take advantage of Skubal's doubtfulness that he would even return in the first place, and they would draft him in the 29th round of the 2017 MLB draft. Tarik had a choice: take the low overall draft pick and barely any money and try to rehab your professional baseball dreams from there, or go back to school, complete your rehab, and try to earn a better draft place by playing amateur ball. He chose the latter, to the tune of 80 innings and 106 strikeouts. That's almost 12 K per nine. He did have some struggles with a 4.16 ERA, and that scared some teams off, but there was one team that was willing to take the risk and give him a shot. The Detroit Tigers selected Skubal in the 9th round of the 2018 MLB draft, and immediately he set himself apart. In 2018, after being drafted, he pitched only 22 1/3 innings between the first 3 levels of the minors before the Tigers saw enough to decide to send him straight to AA to start the next season. Tarik Skubal never played AAA baseball before the Tigers decided that this guy was ready for the show. Competition in the minors was just not good enough, but the competition in the big leagues was something different altogether. In his first 8 starts in 2020, Skubal posted a 5.63 ERA. Something seemed off, but the Tigers thought that there was a lot to be hopeful for in Skubal's game, particularly his 10.4 K per nine. In 2021, Skubal had his first full non-COVID big league season. Pitching to a 4.58 ERA and hitting an innings mark of 149, this was the most he had ever pitched in his life, pro or otherwise, and that extra wear and tear would take a toll. But not before starting his 2022 season with a 3.09 ERA through his first 12 starts with a 10.4 K per nine. He was starting to look like he could be a bona fide ace. But then production started to dip. Over his next 7 starts, Skubal would post an ERA over 7. And then, after 3 scoreless starts that started to show that Skubal was starting to get out of his funk, bad news came. In August of 22, Skubal was sidelined with a flexor tendon injury that would require surgery. He was done for the season. But as his season came to an end, MLB had no idea what was going to happen when Tarik Skubal got back on the bump. See, through 2020, 21, and 22, Skubal had been primarily a fastball pitcher, and later he would become a fastball slider pitcher. He was trying to overpower you with a fastball that averaged 94 miles an hour and topped out around 97, and a slider with up to 30 inches of vertical break. For any other pitcher, that's a nasty combination. But while rehabbing, Skubal developed a love for a pitch that would turn him from a middle of the rotation arm to the best pitcher on the planet. Returning from injury in July of 2023, Skubal started throwing his changeup more than any other pitch besides his fastball. His changeup was more than 10 miles per hour slower than his fastball, with more than a foot of arm side run. Oh, and his fastball? It's also up about 2 miles per hour on average. Using this insanely effective pitch mix and on top of his already nasty slider, Skubal pitched even better than he ever had. In 2023, he had a 2.80 ERA with a ridiculous 11.4 K per nine. He was truly a different man than he had previously been. But in more ways than one, because in 23, he also developed another aspect of his game that would continue to be a calling card of his career moving forward. He stopped walking people altogether. In 2023, Skubal sported a sub 900 whip, which basically means more often than not, if Skubal's pitching, it's a 1-2-3 inning. In only 80 1/3 innings pitched in 2023, since he came back late from injury, he struck out 102 batters. And in doing so, he put the league on notice. The Tigers also finished second in the division that season, and with their shiny new healthy ace ready to rock in 2024, they looked to shock everybody. And shock everybody they did, after a very, bumpy start. Skubal was great for the jump. Honestly, he was truly dominant. He was a new man from his days before his flexor tendon surgery and would spend whole months being basically unhittable. But around him, his Tigers teammates were coming up short. They were 8 games under 500 and sported a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs on August 11th. The season looked to be just another disappointing season for the Tigers. Honestly, they were probably cooked, and that meant that they were going to waste one of the best seasons in modern pitching history from Tarik Skubal. But Skubal and the Tigers got hot at just the right time. That 0.2% August 11th date just so happened to be smack in the middle of Skubal's most dominant stretch of 2024. From July 28th to August 20th, almost a month straight, Skubal would give up just 1 run in more than 26 innings of work. And that kind of spark was exactly what the Tigers needed. They stormed through the last month and a half of the season, going 31-13 on the back of Tarik Skubal, who during that time made 6 starts, pitched 39 innings, and only gave up 10 earned runs that entire time. During that time, he also struck out 55 people for a K/9 of 12.69. He also had a sub 800 whip, and maybe the most important thing about that entire stretch, he walked 6 batters, 6 starts, 39 innings, and he struck out 55 major league hitters and only walked 6. Absolutely devastating. He would finish the season with a truly absurd stat line of 18-4 record, 30 starts, 192 innings, only 3 unearned runs all season. That'll happen when you absolutely refuse to walk guys. 228 strikeouts, 35 walks, and a 0.92 whip. He would lead baseball in the pitching Triple Crown stats of wins with 18, strikeouts with 228, and an ERA of 2.39, earning him the Triple Crown and eventually the 2024 AL Cy Young Award for his trouble. And most importantly, the Tigers would own a wild card spot at the end of the year. And the world was about to find out about postseason Tarik Skubal, maybe the most devastating version of Tarik Skubal. His first start was in wildcard game 1 in Houston against the most successful playoff team of the last decade in the Houston Astros. What would he do? Just 6 innings, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and most importantly, 0 runs. The Tigers would win that game 3-1 and win the next game 5-2 to sweep the Astros and end their 7-year streak of ALCS appearances. Then came the Cleveland Guardians, a division rivalry, to see who would be moving on to the American League Championship Series. And the Tigers would drop game 1 to the Guardians 7-0. Never did they need their ace more than in that moment. And on October 7th, 2024, we would pay witness to Tarik Skubal's magnum opus. He dominated a great Guardians lineup to the tune of 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. The Tigers were back, and all because they had the Tiger King himself in the biggest moment. The Motor City Kitties would ride that momentum on the plane back home for game 3, where they would again beat the Guardians. This time 3-0 in front of a sold out 45,000 strong Tiger crowd. 2-1 series lead. The Tigers, who had been at the lowest low, 0.2% chance to make the playoffs less than 2 months ago, were 1 game away from playing for the American League pennant. But the Guardians would win a nail-biting back-and-forth Game 4 to tie the series 2-2 and send the series back to Cleveland for a winner-take-all Game 5. There's good news for Tigers fans, because if you could pick anybody in the world to start a game for you in an elimination Game 5, a win-or-go-home game to keep your season and playoff hopes alive, who would you pick? I think we all know who they picked. On 4 days rest, Tarik Skubal took the bump. And while he did let the bases get loaded a couple times, through 5 innings, it was looking really good for the Tigers. In the top of the 5th, Trey Sweeney drew a walk to bring up Kerry Carpenter to pinch hit. Carpenter drilled a ball to the right center field fence that would score Sweeney from first and give the Tigers a 1-0 lead. So as Skubal started to work in the bottom of the inning with a new 1-0 lead, it was looking great. But then Andres Jimenez would slap a base hit down the third baseline. Stephen Kwan would get another base hit to put 2 on the Guardians. David Fry would hit a bleeder to second base. Bases loaded, 1 out. All Skubal needs is to get a ground ball, to get a double play, to get them out of the 5th inning with the lead still intact. But for a guy that doesn't walk anybody, this was a terrible time to lose control, because Tarik Skubal drilled Jose Ramirez with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to bring across the tying run for the Guardians, and still only 1 out. That pitch ended Skubal's 28 2/3 inning scoreless streak. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the fact that there are bases loaded, 1 out. We can still do this. 1 pitch away from a double play that sends me back to the dugout with a tie game, brand new ball game. But then
Thomas swings, hits a high fly ball deep in the left field.
Yep, that's Lane Thomas hitting a grand slam to put the Guardians up 5-1 against the best pitcher on the planet. Tigers never recovered. They'd managed to push across 2 more runs, but so would the Guards. And when Emmanuel Clase has been tasked with ending your season with 6 outs to go and 4 runs of padding, typically that means you are not in great shape. In 2024, the Tigers were driven forward by the absolute locomotive that was Tarik Skubal. Skubal turned in what was ultimately one of the most dominant pitching performances of the 21st century at age 27. 2025 has been more of the same from Skubal so far, walking next to nobody, giving up almost no runs, a 0.84 whip, and a ridiculous 12.1 K per 9 so far this season. He's basically gotten better from one of the best seasons we'd ever seen already. So far, the crown jewel in his 2025 campaign is a revenge game against the Cleveland Guardians in his last start. A complete game, 2-hit shutout with 13 strikeouts, where he ended the game with a 103-mile-an-hour fastball for his 13th K to cap it off in less than 100 pitches. Complete game, shutout, Maddox. He would finish that game with a game score of 96, which is the best we've seen in a game since 2023 when Domingo Germán pitched a perfect game against the Oakland A's. Tarik Skubal has cemented himself as a force of nature in the sport, and at the young age of 28, he looks to only be getting better, as we're truly playing witness to a spectacle reminiscent of Tigers legends like Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, who would go on to be, with Clayton Kershaw, easily in the top 3 most dominant pitchers of their generation. Skubal's poised for a run rarely seen in baseball, and we should all feel privileged to see it in action.